Hi there, Iain from Ranking the Obscure here. Hope everyone is fine on this really nice day. We're sort of going back on a bit of form now from the last one. Going to look at Big Country today. Really good band. When they first come out, I was sort of like their hits, and I thought they were a good band, you know, a bit different from what I normally listen to. And in 1986, when I went to Nebworth to see Queen, Big Country are on the bill, and they were terrific live. So I decided I think I'd start buying some of their albums, and I ended up getting them all. They were formed in the early mid-80s, back in Dunfermline up in Scotland, and it was a pretty solid lineup. Stuart Adamson on vocals and guitar, Bruce Watson on guitar, mandolin and vocals, Tony Butler on the bass, and Mark Brzeski on the drums. Obviously Stuart Adamson, sadly, we have him no longer. Shame. Great singer, great guitar player. These were a terrific band. So let's get crack on. We've got 9 studio albums to look at, and we've got an honourable mention today. So we'll get cracking. So coming in at number 9 is their 2019 album, their 9th and last, The Journey. Now this album obviously is one without Stuart. They brought in Mike Peters from The Alarm. Tony Butler had retired from music, so they got Derek Forbes, who used to play with Simple Minds. Bruce Watson was back on guitars, Mark Brzeski on drums, and they also got Jamie Watson, which was is Bruce Watson's son, to play on this. Now, this album musically is terrific, but as much as Mike Peters is a great singer, it just didn't sound right. The tracks are okay. I mean, there's only 3 outstanding tracks on the album. The first one, The Promised Land. The Journey. Musically, it's brilliant, but it's just Mike Peters just didn't work. Then you get After the Flood, Hurt, Home of the Brave, Angels and Promises, Strong, The Last Ship Sails, Another Country. We got Return, which is probably the best track of the album, and Mike Peters' vocals do actually work on this one. And then How Well and Farewell. It's just a shame because this album musically, as I said, was pretty good. Okay, moving on to the next album, number 8 in my list, the debut album from 1983, The Crossing. People going, oh, why is it so low? Well, I think they were just still discovering what they wanted to actually do. That big country sound hasn't came in yet as much. A couple of tracks it did, but we'll have a look. So the first track on the album is In a Big Country, classic big country song. Really like that one. Okay, it's played a lot, but it's still good. Then we have a track called Inwards. Too much like U2. You know, you can tell this is like a first album when you listen to it now. It's a good album, don't get me wrong, but they were sort of still trying to find their identity. Chance, love this song. It's about the Jacobite Revolt of 1745. It's got nice vocals and guitars. One of my favourite tracks by Big Country. Then we get 1,000 Stars, another track that sounds more like U2. It's okay. It's not bad, but it's not good either. Then we get The Storm. This is a good track. Very Celtic, very nice arrangement, terrific. Then we get Harvest Home. It was the debut single. It's okay, not one of my favourites. Then we get Lost Patrol. This is a good Celtic rock song, really good. Sort of in bits of it remind you of Thin Lizzy. Really good track. Then we get Close Action, another good solid rock track, really good. And then we get Fields of Fire, brilliant song. It was the first one that really got where that sound of the big country was coming through. Then we get Foraman, lovely track, very Celtic, best song on the album, great live, really good track. And this is actually the album I've got is actually the CD bonus. It's got Wonderland, which was never on an album. It was in between the first two albums. It's got a nice guitar riff, but again, it sounds a little bit too much like U2 for my liking. And then we get Angie Park. Nice bass line to that, but okay. That U2 sound is still there. Then we get All Full Together. This is an okay track. Nothing special, but it's listenable. And then we have a extended remix of Chance. Why muck about with a great song? That's all I'll say on that. And then we have The Crossing. Sounds a bit like a Thin Lizzy sort of style track, but not like Thin Lizzy. It's still in that style. Really good ending of the album. Okay, coming in at number 7 is their second album from 1984, Steeltown. This album is a little bit better. They're starting to find their feet. You know, their sound's coming through. So the first track on the album is Flame of the West. This is a good rocker. It's got a nice heavy bass line, and its original sound. It's really good. Then we get East of Eden. This is excellent guitar work from the boys, and you can see that big country sound that when you listen to a track, that's big country, is starting to emerge on this track. Then we get Steeltown, steady song, nice vocal and drums on this one. Then we have Where the Rose is Sown, another good Celtic-y sounding track, great bass line again from Tony Butler. Then we get Come Back to Me. It's okay. That's all I'll say about it. Tall Ships goes the next song. It's a bit poppy. They're trying to do too much with this song. The drums seem to be a bit too fast, and everyone's trying to keep up with him. But the positive side of this thing, it's got a stunning guitar solo. Absolutely stunning. Next track, Girl with Grey Eyes. It's a slower track. Nothing outstanding though. It's okay. Then we get Rain Dance, another good track. Great guitar work. Really good. Then we get The Great Divide. This is a solid big country sound that's starting to come through. Say out of on this album, this is the one they've really go. This is what we want. Then we get Just a Shadow. Great track. So one of the singles, but really nice work on that one. Then we get some bonuses on the CD. Thing called Bass Dance. It's not very long, but it's just a bit of filler. It's that case. Let's get as many tracks on the album as we can. Like Belief in the Small Man. It's just filler. Then we get Prairie Rose, which is a Brian Ferry number. Really good. When you thought U2 had gone away, but this sounds like one of their tracks again. Then we get an extended version of Wonderland, 7 minutes. Why? Then we get a thing called Winter Sky. It's actually a great track. Should have been on the album in the beginning. Really, really good. On the whole, the album, as I said, is getting a little bit better. That sound starting to come through. Still a bit of U2 in there, but yeah, they're going in the right direction. Okay, then coming in at number 6 is their 1986 album, the third one, the Seer. Again, this is just a really good album, starting to stand out on their own now. First track, Look Away. It's a great track. It's one of them tracks that we say about, if I never hear it again, I won't get upset, but it's still a good track. Second track, The Seer. This features Kate Bush on backing vocals. Great track, great vocal from Kate Bush. Really makes the track, and Stuart's vocals with her. It was a good combination. Next track, The Teacher. Yeah, U2 were back. It's still there, but it's going away. Very good. Then we get a thing called I Walk the Hill. Really good all-round track. Great performance from the band. Nice drums on this one. Then we get a thing called Eliden. Mediocre track. Nothing brilliant about it, but nothing bad about it. I'll sit on the fence on that one, I think. Then we get One Great Thing. It's a bit cheesy, but it's a really enjoyable track. Then we get Hold the Heart. Very commercial song, very radio friendly, as they say, but it's got some great guitar work. Not bad at all. Then we get Remembrance Day. Good rock track, best track on the album. Then we get The Red Fox. This is a good Celtic sounding rock song, really, really good. Then we get Sailor, bit of a filler, bit ordinary, but not too bad. Then we get Song of the South, steady rock song. And then we get a 12-inch mix of Look Away. It's pointless and it's not very good. Okay, but then we had, on the bonus thing, we had this One Great Thing disco mix. Yeah, absolutely awful. That's all I'll say about that. Okay, why did they put that on there? I don't know. But I think it's that. Let's bung as much as we can on the CD. Okay then, coming in at number 5 is the 1995 album, 7th release, Why All the Long Faces. I love the cover of this. It's got a dash hound on, and I've got a dash hound. And it's got that Why the Long Faces, that looky looks they give you. Okay, there's some dogs, let's get to the music. Okay, first track on this album, You Dreamer. Nice opening rock guitars on this one. Then we get Message of Love, another good rocker. They're all, by this time they really are rocking by 1995. Third track, I'm Not Ashamed, solid Celtic sounding track. Then we get Sail Into Nothing, it's an okay track. Thunder and Lightning, solid Celtic guitar sound on this, terrific. Then we get Send You, it's okay. One in a Million again, okay. Then we get God's Great Mistake. This has got some thundering bass, great Celtic sound, and some more brilliant guitar work. Number 9 on the album, good rocker this one is, Wild Land in My Heart. Got a good beat, foot tapping. Then we get a thing called Take You to the Moon. It's a bit of a filler for me, it just meanders. Far From Me to You. This is one of these albums that's got too many tracks on it, and this track is one of them that you know, they are struggling. It's not particularly good. Like Charlotte, the next track, more of the same. It's bung as many out songs on an album. Then we do get a good one, Post-Nuclear Blues, Talking Blues. It's a bit different for Big Country. It's got some nice acoustic work and then this little bit of slide guitar, really, really good. And then we get the last track, Blue on the Green Planet. It's okay, but it has got some really good guitar riffs in this one. Okay, then moving on. Coming in at number 4, 5th album from 1991, No Place Like Home. Now we are starting to get into really, really good albums. This album opens up with We're Not in Kansas. Really good opening, catchy melody, great lyrics. Second track, the best track on the album, Republican Party Reptile. It's got some storming slide guitar to start, and then it's got this driving bluesy riff all the way through. Terrific. Next track, Dynamite Lady. This is a bit different. There's some keyboards in this one, bit of wah-wah pedal on the guitar, makes this a different sound and really good. Then we get Keep On Dreaming. It's a solid track. It's not a bad track and it's not a good track, it's just solid. Then we get a thing called Beautiful People. This is again another different sort of track. It's got piano on it, banjo, sounds very country, but it actually fits on the album and it's a really good track. The Hostage Speaks. It's an acoustic record, really good song though. Next track, Beat the Devil. That big country sounds really on this one. Within 2 beats of listening to this, you know it's big country. It's got a signature big country sound to it. Then we have Leap of Faith. This has got a terrific bass line and a good rock steady beat through it all the way through. You, Me and the Truth. It drifts on a bit. Maybe it's okay. And we get Comes a Time. It's a good solid track to end an album with. No, it doesn't, because I've just moved. There's 2 more tracks on this. There's a few, sorry. Number 11 on the album is called Ships. Nice slow track, piano and strings, and a great vocal from Stewart. Then we get Into the Fire, good solid track. Then we get some bonus stuff, and for once these tracks are pretty good. They're not filler, they are worth their place on the album. Heart of the World, nice track, got some great riffs in this. Kiss the Girl Goodbye, really good rocker. Then the Freedom Song, very pleasant sounding guitar work here, very, very good. Okay then, now we can move on. Coming in at number 3 from 1988, the 4th album, Peace in Our Time. Again, a very solid album from top to bottom. Starts off with the brilliant King of Emotion, crunchy rocker, one of their best songs they ever made. Then we get Broken Heart, 13 Valleys. It's got a lovely, like a plucking guitar sound, good track, brilliant. Then we get 1,000 Yard Stare. This is a terrific track. It's a nice arrangement, nice catchy tune to it as well, really good. Then we get From Here to Eternity, another good rocker with some lovely Celtic tones in this, really, really good. Then we get an acoustic number called Everything I Need, brilliant, one of their best acoustic tracks. Then we get Peace in the Time, the title track, great guitar work. Then we get Time for Leaving, solid as you get. Then we get River of Hope. The drumming on this is terrific, really heavy, really beats out a strong drum beat on this, and with some awesome riffs going in that one as well. Then we have a track called In This Place, bit of a filler on this one, I'm afraid, not brilliant, like I Could Be Happy Here, it's okay. Then we get some bonus tracks on the CD. The Travellers. This is terrific. It sounds a very traditional sort of Celtic song with traditional instruments. It's an instrumental, but it's given that modern touch. Brilliant. Then we get When a Drum Beats. Great rocker. Great rocker. Then we get a thing called Starred and Crossed. Bit dough diddly, rock and roll, but it's pretty good. And the last track, The Longest Day. Guess who sounds like who's playing on this one? Yes, it's U2 again. But this is actually a pretty good track. It's not. There's little bits that sound U2-y, but it's still a pretty solid track. Okay, we're moving into the top two. These were very difficult, and I had to determine on which. My number two has got a track that I'm not particularly keen on. I think that's why it's at number two. So coming in at number two is the 1999 album Driving to Damascus. Now, they decided to re-release this in 2002 and call it John Wayne's Dream. But to me, it is Driving to Damascus. Sadly, this was Stuart Adamson's last album, but it was a great album. So first track on here is Driving to Damascus. Brilliant, best track on the album. Driving guitars, great vocal. Second track, Dive Into Me. Now the start of this has got one of them horrible bumming drum and bass drum machines, and you go, oh no, this is going to be awful. But all of a sudden, bang, we get this great rock track, which makes it sound even better. And all then that you forget about that bit at the beginning. It's a brilliant track. Third track, See You. This is the one I'm not keen on. It's a bit wishy-washy, not very good at all. Then we get Perfect World. And again, that drum and bass drum beat at the beginning, why? But then it goes into another great rocker with some great riffs. Next track, Somebody Else. This is written by Stuart Adamson and yes, Ray Davis of the Kinks, of course. Good track, good poppy song, but really good. Fragile Thing, that's a solid track again. Then we get a thing called The President Slipped and Fell. This has got to be one of the heaviest tracks that Big Country ever made. Really good sound. Then we get Devil in the Eye, another solid track. Good rocker. Trouble the Waters, nice Celtic sound on this. A bit slower, but it's got that feel of it in Scotland. Bella, another great rocking track. Got a terrific riff at the beginning. Then you get You Spirit Me, nice guitar work, terrific track, very solid. Then we get Grace, steady, nice riffs again. And then the next tracks are the ones that they added to make it called John Wayne's Dream. But what they did put on are really good tracks. Loserville, very rock and roll, but brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Then we get This Blood Is For You, sorry. Nice mixture of acoustic and electric guitars in this. The combination works really good with Stuart's vocals. Then I get Hurt, nice rocker with some driving riffs in this. And then we got John Wayne's Dream. It's okay, it's not okay, the best thing on the album. Okay, my number one is the Buffalo Skinners. This is probably the best produced album they ever made. Came out in 1993 and it was their 6th album. It's one of them albums where they got everything right, and that's why it's my number one. Starts off with a track called Alone. Got some great Celtic overtones. The guitars just sound brilliant on this album. Seven Waves, a terrific track, good rocker. This is a really heavy album in places. Then we get What Are You Working For? This has got a great melody, really rocks, brilliant. The one I love is the track that the guitars are just perfect on this. Long Way Home, another storming track, really heavy rock sound, brilliant. The Ceiling of America, solid big country sounding song. Then we get a couple of tracks off their previous album, No Place Like Home. First you get We're Not in Kansas. This is a better recording, and it's the production on it. It's a lot better than the original version is brilliant. One of my favourite. This is one of my favourite tracks, but the production on this is absolutely amazing, brilliant. Then the other track they did from that album is Ships. Brilliant. On the original you've just got piano and strings, but on this version you've got guitar, which even makes this track, it's a brilliant track, it's even better. Then we get a track, this next track, hold on, I've deleted it, just bear with me 2 seconds. All Together Now. As I say, Mick Box, Eat Your Heart Out. The wah wah on this is very Mick Box from Uriah Heep. Terrific track. Then we get Winding Road. It's actually one of the weaker songs on the album, but it's still good. It's still good. Then we get a track called Pink Marshmallow Moon. Solid track. And then the album ends with Chester's Farm. Very solid track. Sadly, the last time we would hear Stuart's voice. So that's the actual ranking of the albums. Now, my honorary mention is an album they released in 2001 called Undercover, and it's an album that they recorded between 93 and 97, and it's just covers of some great songs. There's a couple of Alice Cooper songs, I'm 18 and Teenage Lament, Lou Reed's Vicious, Down on the Corner from Clearwater Revival. That is a brilliant cover. They're all really good versions. Then you get Neil Young's Hey Hey My My, not a bad cover. On the Road Again, really good version. Don't Fear the Reaper, the best cover on this album. And they do Paranoid. It's not not brilliant. Then you get David Bowie's Cracked Actor, really solid version of that. Again, one of the best tracks on this album, Oh Well from Fleetwood Mac. They really do it justice. Woodstock's not too bad. Then you get a live version of Tears, Tracks of My Tears. Then they put Prairie Rose on here again. So on the whole, for a cover album, it's pretty solid. But it has got probably the worst version of Paranoid I've ever heard. Okay then, well, that's Big Country done. As usual, if you like, comment, subscribe, and hopefully we'll see you all very shortly. So take care for now.